like this one. Ooh, it's spooky season.
I gotta go original. I think it's the voice changer. Okay, take your notes, do your math, make sure you pay attention.
All right, welcome back. We're going to be taking notes on Introduction to Ratios, and today we're going to be talking about the definition of ratios and how to compare things, and we are going to do a fun activity where we get to tally and figure out what the comparison of different letters on a spinner are. So to start off with, I don't really like this definition, so we're actually going to not fill in a blank for here because the actual definition that I prefer in 6th grade is that a ratio is just a comparison. So just right now, draw a line straight across that to an arrow pointing at comparison, because that's all a ratio is. It's a comparison of two quantities which describe the same attribute. There can actually be a three-way comparison as well, but in most cases it's just two. They can be written in several ways. So I want you to underline word form and then circle the word two, because we would write the word TO for two. So 2 dogs, 2, 3 cats. We can also use a colon. So those 2 dots that we've been talking about in between the 2 numbers, that shows us the separation and the comparison, but we still read it as 2 to 3. And then in fraction form, so with the fraction bar in the middle of them, that also is read 2 to 3. Okay, so they all are read as if the word 2 is written. There's just 2 different symbols that can separate the numbers, which is fraction form and ratio form and fraction form. So I do actually want you to write ratio underneath that, because this is ratio form. So word form, ratio form, and fraction form are the 3. So add form under each of these, because those are the 3 different forms that we can write our ratios in. Ratios can also be written in simplest terms or simplified. So I've mentioned that a little bit, and we're going to be practicing that in the coming weeks. But simplified means to just make the numbers as simple as possible, as still maintaining the same ratio. And so we'll talk about that. So use the faces below to practice writing ratios. And so I'm actually going to put little check marks next to them as I count them, because trying to keep track of all of these different faces can be kind of a challenge. But also remember that order matters. So when I compare teeth to no teeth, the first number that I write needs to be the teeth number, and then compared to no teeth. So I'm going to put the blank, colon, blank, so that I'm prepared as I count these. So let's go ahead and count them. So this one is showing teeth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there are 9 that have teeth. I just want to point out that that is a tongue. So this one right here, that's a tongue. It's sticking its tongue out. So that's where some kids get confused and make little errors on that. So you just always want to ask clarifying questions in case you're debating it, especially if it's a matter of counting things up that are supposed to be specific in a specific ratio. So now I have to count all of the other ones. Because I'm going to be counting these throughout, I need to maybe not mark them up too much, but I'm going to put a dot above each one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Woo! Catch me. I made a mistake. Where did I make a mistake? Right there. So 1, 2, 3. I already have a check on that. That's got teeth. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 13, 14, 15. So there are 15 that are not showing their teeth. Our next one is eyebrows to total faces. So eyebrows compared to the total faces. Let's go ahead and see which ones have eyebrows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I'm going across the middle row. None of them in the middle row. So we're still at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is where we have to be cautious because as you can see, I'm using different symbols to count and keep track, because when you're counting all these different faces and we're using the different features, it is easy to lose track very quickly. Now, one of the easiest ways to figure out the total faces is to count. We've got 1, 2, 3 down the side, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's a 3 by 8 array of faces, and 3 times 8 is 24. All right, tongues to total faces. Well, we just did a total faces one, and so I already know that 24 is going to be my total faces. This is the cool thing, as we get further into this, there are certain things that we've already counted. So that's something to take note of, is to use your resources and look back at previous problems. Here I've got tongues, so I'm going to actually circle the tongues on all of these. So there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I think it's 4. 4. Awesome. So 4 to 24. All right. Angry faces to eyebrows. I'm pretty sure we've already done an eyebrow one. So look back at our thing. So eyebrows was the first number in this ratio, so that's a 10. So eyebrows is going to be the second number in this ratio. And so remember, order matters. It makes a difference. So order matters. Make sure you're putting it in the correct spot. Let's go back and count the angry faces. Now, in years past, some kids have debated what ones are the angry faces. I always tell them to look at the eyebrows, because when the eyebrows are a certain way, that's usually telling me how many angry faces there are. So let's see if we can do this. So I'm going to circle the eyebrows. So 1, 2, 3. This guy, I don't think he looks confused. I don't think he looks angry. I think he looks confused. So we're not going to count him. So 3, and then 4, 5, 6, and 7. So I would say that there are 7 that have those angry eyebrows. But this is, again, one of those situations where you could debate it. You could say that these two guys with the kind of slanted face and stuff, they look like they could be angry. They look like they could be confused. I'm going to say that there are 7, right? We've got the 1, 2, 3 on top, and then 4, 5, 6, 7 for the bottom. So I'm going to say that there are, oh, I missed one. There we go, 8. All right, so always go back and double check, but there are 8 with angry eyebrows. The other 2 that I pointed arrows at, those guys look more confused, but some kids can say maybe they do look angry. All right, the big eyes, 2 teeth. Big eyes, 2 teeth. I don't think, oh, I have done teeth. So teeth is already there. Teeth is 9, right? So there's my one up there. But the big eyes, I have not done that yet. And so you can see the difference between these tiny small eyes, okay? So these small eyes right here versus these big eyes right here. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to circle the eyes now. So none on these first couple. They're the start here at the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of the big eyes. So 12 to 9. Closed eyes to tongues. So closed eyes to tongues. I believe we've already done tongues. We did tongues back on this one. So 4 is going to be the tongues, so I can fill that in. But closed eyes I have not done. So those are those squinted ones. So we're looking for the squinty eyes. We've got one here, one here. There's 2. I don't see any other ones. So 2 to 4. All right, the big eyes to angry faces. So the big eyes we just did a second ago. The big eyes is 12. And then angry faces, we actually already did that as well. Angry faces was 8. And then our last 2, tiny eyes and no smiles. I don't think we've done either of those. Tiny eyes? Nope. All right, so I'm going to circle those eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Whoop, 10 right there. So 10 tiny eyes, and the ones that have no smiles. So this can go a couple of different ways. You know, we've got the angry faces and all that. So let's go ahead and see who's not smiling. So I'm going to say this guy's not smiling. I'm just going to put a slash. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's a smile. 8, 9. It's hard because this one kind of looks like a smirk, but we're going to go with 10. That one looks like he's happy. 11, that's a straight line, so that's not a smile. 12, 13, 14, 15. That doesn't really look like a smile, does it? No, we didn't count that before. I'm going to say that those don't count. So 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I would say that these ones are the ones that are the smiles they're talking about, where it's a clear-cut, big old smile that they're showing. So I would say that there are 19 no smiles. But if you could give the justification to your teacher about why you think that it is a smile versus not a smile, because some of these emojis are ambiguous, I could understand that. So it says write the ratios below, then determine if the ratios are different. Justify your thinking. So teeth to no teeth. So we actually did this. It was the very first one we did, 9 to 15. And then no teeth to teeth would be 15 to 9. And so the question, it said to justify your thinking. The justification goes back to what we talked about over the last couple of days is, yes, they are different. The order matters. Put that in capital letters. It matters. You have to put it in the correct order. So if you flip-flop the numbers, you're creating a different ratio, because when I say teeth to no teeth, 9 tells me that that is 9 teeth, and 15 being the second number tells me that it's 15 no teeth. So the order matters. The order in which the ratio is written is important to the meaning. All right. So let's get a little bit more tricky. So it says in the lunchroom, there were 100 milk cartons at lunch. When lunch was over, 80 cartons of milk had been purchased. So let's go through and mark this up. It says in the lunchroom, there were 100 milk cartons to start with. When lunch was over, 80 cartons of milk had been purchased. So this is where we have to know what each of the numbers mean in the context of the situation. So it says, what is the ratio of the number of milk cartons purchased to total number of milk cartons? So for this, the number that was purchased was 80. So 80 is my first number because that's the first thing they stated in the ratio. The second number says the total number of milk cartons, which is what they started with, which was 100. So we have to make sure that even though in the original statement they had the two numbers backwards, we have to look at what the actual question is asking for, which is what is the ratio? And that's what tells me that I need to use my colon in there. The next thing says, what is the ratio? So I know that I'm comparing two different numbers of milk cartons remaining to the number of milk cartons purchased. So this is where it does get tricky. We have to start doing some mathematical thinking here. So the first thing is, I don't know how many are remaining. I do know that there were 80 purchased. So I can fill that in right away because I was gifted that information. But the milk cartons remaining is referring to, if I started with 100 and 80 of them are purchased, then how many are remaining? Well, 0 minus 0 is 0. And then this is asking me 10 minus 8 is 2. So the remaining milk cartons, maybe for the next lunch, so we're 6th graders, maybe there's 20 left over for the 7th graders. Now, in most cases, obviously, they're going to refill them, but that's that. So there are situations where you will have to add everything up, like when we talked about the farm animals and how all of the animals were considered farm animals. So we could talk about how we add up all the pigs, cows, and chickens. If your class didn't do that, you might be confused on that. But in this situation, I was given a total amount to start with that I had to subtract to get how many are remaining. Okay, so we are actually going to do this as a class. I have a spinner ready to go. For time's sake, we are actually only going to do this 10 times. And I say that because the spinner feels like it takes forever. But we're going to do that. I have A, B, C, and D on a spinner. And we're going to make tally marks and figure out the total number of spins that shows up for each letter. So let's... Okay, so here we go. All right, let's put an A tally. Tally for A. And we've got another A. Better not all be A's. That's statistically improbable. All right. Ooh, they're clapping for us. Woo-woo. Oh, C. Taking the celebration out of it. E, so put a tally. So 2 for A, 1 for C, 1 for E. C. Apparently there's a glitch in this app because it keeps acting like it's gonna cheer for me while I'm spinning. Ha, yeah, like that. All right, C. Woo! Okay. Man, we're getting a lot of C's. I haven't gotten a B or a D yet. There's a B. All right. So we are at 7. 3 more spins. And there's our D finally. 8 spins. Number 9. E again. And our last spin. I'll let it ride out and hopefully it'll cheer and throw confetti. It threw confetti, but the sound hates me. All right, so A was our last one. Okay, so our total spins for A was 3. Total spins for B was just 1. C was 3, D was 1, and E was 2. So that's important that we know that so that when we can do our ratio statements, we're going to use that table to do our ratios. So what is the ratio of spins landing on B to spins landing on E? So B is, woo, zoom out there. B is going to be first compared to E. So writing your ratio statement with the actual labels like that can help you make sure that the numbers are in the correct order, because order, did they all say matters? I really hope they did. Order matters. So B is 1 compared to E is 2. So our order matters, so 1 to 2. All right, describe a ratio relationship based on your spinning in which the ratio is 1 to 4. Okay, we actually do not have a ratio that is 1 to 4. There is, I take that back. We can pick our ratio to be D compared to, and we can combine a 3 and a 1. So let's combine B and C into 4. So 1 plus 3 is 4. So we can say that D compared to B plus C. So the combination of D. So we could say that the ratio of D spins compared to the combined spins of B and C, which means and meaning we're adding them together. So I almost thought that I came so close to not doing it for that one. All right, what would you need to spin in order to create a ratio of 3 to 1? So to create a ratio of 3 to 1, you would need to spin one of the letters 3 times and one of the letters 1, which we have that situation. We would have to use C compared to B, or we could do C compared to D. We could also do A compared to B, or A compared to D. So all of those scenarios would be 3 being the first number and the second number being 1. So all of those are options for that. If you were asked to spin the spinner 100 times, what predictions could you make using your data? So my predictions, you guys, if we're going from 10 spins to 100 spins, okay, so 10 to 100 spins, that is a multiplier of 10 times more the spins. So what I could predict is that I would spin all of those letters 10 times more than I did originally. So A would be 30, B would be 10, C would be 30, D would be 10, and E would be 20. And if we add all that up, 30 and 20 make 50, 60, 70, plus the 30 makes a total of 100 spins. So whatever you predict should add up to the total number of spins, because when we use ratios, we don't just multiply one part of the ratio by a number, by a multiplier. We multiply every part of it. So if I choose 10 times more, I'm going to multiply every single piece of my ratio by 10, or in this case, all of my spins by 10 to make my prediction. All right, apply your understanding of ratios to answer the questions below. Mrs. Johansson is decorating her classroom for fall. She has 5 red, 7 yellow, and 3 orange leaves to hang from her ceiling. Record the ratios below. So first of all, I want to go back in and I want to circle the numbers and underline the key words so that I can do these ratios. The first number is 5. It's written in word form, red. Then 7, yellow, and then 3, orange. They're trying to throw you off by not just writing it as digits, because in writing, a lot of times they do all of the numbers between 1 and 9. They write in word form. So just be prepared for that, because sometimes they'll throw those in. So red was 5. That's our first number, compared to yellow, which was 7. Orange is 3 compared to, now here's an issue. We don't have the total. So the total is referring to all of the leaves that she has. So I have to take the 5, 7, and 3 and combine them. Whenever you're adding multiple numbers up, try and look for 10 pairs and 5 pairs. So in this case, 7 and 3 is 10. So then I can add 5 and 10 to get a total of 15 leaves. We just did the total for letter C, so 15 is letter C for the total. And then yellow was 7. Question number 4, number tiles marked 0 to 9 are placed on the table. What is the ratio of number tiles with a value less than 2 in the total number tiles? So this is where a pictorial diagram comes in really clutch. We're working on drawing a picture to help organize our thoughts. It says number tiles marked with 0 to 9. So all that means is that I have little squares, little rectangles that have numbers on them. So take a second with me to draw a box with each number. Because that's going to help us organize our thoughts and see this visually. And remember, the video can always be paused. If we get behind, raise your hand politely and ask the substitute to pause the video. If necessary, get caught up. But remember, if you're talking or causing a disruption, then that's all on you. You need to be responsible for taking your notes appropriately. All right, it says the ratio of number tiles with a value less than 2. Did it say including 2? No, it said less than 2. So there are actually only 2 tiles that have a value less than 2. So that's my first number, 2 tiles compared to the total of number tiles. And this is where a lot of kids make a mistake because they see the number 9, but it's 0 through 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You actually have 10 tiles. So that's why I think it's really important to draw something like this out, because some kids will just look at the numbers that they see and not actually count up what the question is asking. So our ratio is 2 to 10. All right, Yvette looks at the picture at the right, so over here, and says the ratio of triangles to hearts is 3 to 5. Explain whether Yvette is correct. So triangles to hearts, I can write T compared to H, and she says is 3 to 5. So let's look over here. Triangles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then hearts, 1, 2, 3. So take a look at it. Triangles is matched up with 3, and H for hearts is matched up with 5. Yvette is wrong because the order is important. And there are 5 triangles and 3 hearts. So she flip-flopped the order, which made it an incorrect statement. Okay. You are going to do the Intro to Ratios worksheet on your own. I want to see how well we do on this. So I'm not going to do this in the video. Your substitute is going to pass out this worksheet and you get done as much as you can and then put it back into your binder. We will follow up with this when I return.
I'm gonna get this haircut when I'm gone, and I'm gonna come back looking like this. Nice job taking your notes. Now do your worksheet.